had a lot of other film commitments. You know, he was the hottest thing on the planet, and he had a TV show to maintain. And I think that, you know, he had written, again, a very healthy outline, and he had the movie imagined and fashioned out. Bob got impatient with, you know, wanting to wait, and there was conversations about, you know, moving in another direction.
In my initial version of Scream 3, well, they had gone on location to make Stab. So it was the making of the movie. They go to Woodsboro.
Gale Weathers was a screenwriter and producer of Stab 3, and she'd given up a career in journalism for this career in Hollywood, which was very unfulfilling. So in a weird way, Gale became Kevin Williamson, and the director of the movie sort of became Wes Craven. Gale and this director were major characters in my treatment.
There was an early version in Kevin's original treatment where the opening sequence was Sidney and a friend being attacked at home, and then Sidney ultimately killing the killer and unmasking the killer, and it's some fan, and this drives her into hiding.
There was this wonderful moment I had in the treatment where Sidney is confronted with all the sets of Stab 3, which are basically the sets of the first Scream, so you sort of relive all that.
The other idea that we did keep from the treatment was the idea of an actress playing Gale Weathers, and who could potentially drive a wedge between the real Gale Weathers and Dewey. That was my favorite idea in the treatment, and so certainly we expanded upon that.
I feel like I am in your mind.
Well, that would explain my constant headaches.
And some of the students at Woodsboro High were hired to be like, you know, Parker Posey's assistant. And so the kids were like the drama club and the film club at school were participating in the movie. And in order so that we could use the locations of the high school, that was all written into the script because it actually really happened in Scream 1. They wouldn't let us shoot at Santa Rosa High. So it was sort of our way of winking at all that. And so those kids were participating in the making of this movie. And there was a scene where they all go back into Stu's house and they're filming on location. And I think they kill everybody.
Gale Weathers got shot, and I killed her for 5 minutes where she was lying there. You actually thought she was dead, and then of course she wasn't. And after Sidney kills the killer in the final scene, then she goes over to help Gale, and as she's helping Gale, there's all the dead bodies in the house, and you just see them all rise up at once.
And of course, it was the kids that were the killers. And the big twist was it wasn't one killer or two, it was 4 killers.
It was a really great, powerful scene because you had 2 endings, and it worked really well.
The original script that Kevin had involved a high school student, the daughter of the principal, who was actually leading a band of kids that were killing students.
So it was like, because there's all these rumors that it was like a cult. Would you have called it a cult?
It wasn't a cult. It was, what happened was these kids saw that their town got really famous for this murder, and they wanted to capitalize on it.
After all the mayhem happened, a reporter came on, and the microphone was taken from the reporter and handed to Gale, and she started giving the live report. The third movie would have ended the way the first one did.